Okay, picture this. It's that crisp autumn morning, leaves crunching, that quiet feeling when you're out hunting. Maybe it's on land that's been in the family for ages, or maybe you've got a good friend out there with you sharing the tradition. It feels great, right? That camaraderie. But here's something we really need to talk about, a kind of stark reality. Despite all the good feelings, the friendship, when accidents happen on your land, it's often really more a question of when, not if.
And that when, well, it can bring some truly serious consequences. What often gets missed, and this is what we're diving into today, is that you, the landowner, can actually be held liable, fully liable, for injuries, for accidents involving hunters, even if they're your closest friends, your family.
Yeah, that's surprising.
It catches people completely off guard. We tend to assume, our insurance covers it, or just being careful is enough. So our goal here, our mission with this deep dive, is to shed some light on this often kind of hidden risk. We want to give you the knowledge to protect yourself.
Exactly. And to help us navigate this, we're looking at some great insights from an article called, Can I Really Be Sued If a Hunter Gets Hurt or Has an Accident on My Land?
Yeah.
It's from the AHLA blog, written by Laura Herboltheimer. So think of this as, well, your shortcut to getting up to speed on something really critical. Could save you a lot of trouble down the line.
Definitely. And one of the most striking points from the source is just how often there are these significant gaps in typical insurance policies.
Gaps? How so?
Well, your standard homeowner's policy or even a general landowner's policy, it frequently just doesn't cover many of these very specific hunting-related incidents. It's just not built for it.
Ah, okay.
Which makes hunting liability a pretty unique risk area. It really needs its own specific attention.
That's a really key point. So, okay, what kind of incidents are we actually talking about? Because I think most people, when they hear hunting accident, they picture one specific thing, maybe a firearm incident. But the source talks about a much wider range, right? Real-world stuff that can lead to liability. Can you give us some examples?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's much broader than just, say, a misfired shot. Think about an accidental shooting. Sure, that could involve another hunter or maybe a non-hunter just walking on your property. Or it could even be a stray bullet that hits someone or something on the neighbor's land.
Wow. Okay. Adjacent land, too.
Yes. And then there are things like building fires, maybe sparks from a hunter's campfire or cooking setup. Or what about damage to vehicles, like an ATV being used by hunters on your property gets damaged or causes damage.
Right.
And like I mentioned, that stray bullet, it could hit a neighbor's barn, maybe their livestock. And you, as the landowner where the hunt originated, could potentially be held responsible for that damage too.
Okay, those examples really paint a picture. It's not just contained to the hunter on your property. It can easily spill over.
Yeah.
So given all that, what exactly is the landowner's responsibility here? Legally speaking, what do you owe someone you've invited onto your land, especially for hunting?
That's the core question, isn't it? And the law is actually quite clear on this. When you invite someone onto your property, they're called an invitee, legally, you owe them what's known as the highest duty of care.
The highest duty of care. What does that mean in practical terms?
It means you have a pretty significant legal obligation. It boils down to this. You need to regularly inspect your property for potential hazards. You need to actively remove or repair dangerous conditions you find. And crucially, you also have to warn your guests, your invitees, about any hazards that aren't immediately obvious. So it's not just about being welcoming. It's a real legal duty to ensure their safety as much as reasonably possible.
That sounds like, well, it sounds like quite a bit to manage, especially if you have a large piece of property. So if you're listening and you own land, what are the practical steps? How do you actually shield yourself from these risks, which sound pretty significant and potentially expensive?
Right. The good news is there are concrete steps you can take. Specialized insurance is a big one. We'll definitely talk about things like vacant land insurance or specific hunting lease liability policies. And we also need to touch on liability waivers because a lot of landowners think, great, I'll just get everyone to sign this piece of paper and I'm covered.
Ah, the waiver. Yes. But you're saying that's maybe not the silver bullet people think it is.
Exactly. It's a very common misunderstanding. Waivers can be useful. They can offer some protection against the inherent risks of an activity. The risks everyone understands are just part of hunting. But, and this is a big but, they usually won't hold up in court if the accident happened because of your negligence as the landowner.
Negligence, like what?
Like, say you knew about a rotten tree stand ladder or a hidden hole on a trail and you didn't fix it and you didn't warn your guest about it. If they get hurt because of that hazard you knew about or reasonably should have known about, the waiver probably won't protect you.
Okay, so the waiver is a piece of the puzzle, but it doesn't cover everything, especially your own responsibilities.
Precisely. It's not the whole solution. So beyond insurance and waivers, other practical things include, well, clear communication, laying out property rules, making sure any known hazards you can't immediately fix are clearly marked. Consistent property maintenance is key. And some landowners even require hunters to show proof they have their own liability insurance.
That makes sense. So pulling this all together, what's the real bottom line here? Why should our listeners, especially landowners, really care deeply about this?
Well, the why it matters.
Yeah,
It's deeply personal and financial. We're not just talking legal theory here. This is about real people, real injuries, and potentially huge costs.
yeah,
Think about it. When someone gets seriously hurt, the medical bills can pile up incredibly fast.
yeah.
And when those bills land, people naturally start looking for who's responsible, right? Blame often enters the picture, and that can lead to these just awful, unsavory legal fights. Fights that can drain your savings, put your assets at risk, and maybe even worse, they can completely destroy friendships, tear families apart. You really don't want to be suing or be sued by someone you care about over an accident.
That's a really sobering point.
Right.
Okay, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, the message seems clear. Hunting is great, it's a tradition, but it comes with real complex risks. And for landowners, understanding that you could be liable if something goes wrong, well, that understanding is absolutely crucial. Acting proactively seems key.
Absolutely. And let's reinforce that point about waivers we discussed. A simple waiver, while maybe helpful, often isn't enough protection on its own. The source material really stresses that specialized liability insurance is the vital component for truly comprehensive coverage.
Right, the specific policies.
Yes, policies designed precisely for this, covering things like damage to your property caused by a guest, fire damage, vehicle incidents, even that adjacent land damage we mentioned. And the good ones offer flexibility. You can often choose your coverage limits, say $1 million or $2 million per incident. Some even let you add multiple co-owners, like other family members who own the land with you, onto the same policy, often for free, maybe up to 7 landowners included. It helps cover those gaps the standard policies leave wide open.
That ability to customize and cover multiple owners seems really valuable. And it circles back to what you said earlier, that idea of accidents being a matter of when, not if. That reality check means that even people you trust completely, friends, family, when they're facing huge medical bills or property loss, they might understandably start looking for ways to cover those costs. And that's how you end up in difficult legal spots.
It's a difficult truth, but preparing for that possibility is actually what protects the relationship as well as your finances.
So thinking about all this, the mix of enjoying the outdoors, sharing it with people you care about, but also facing this potential financial liability. How do we strike that balance? How do we best manage sharing our land while also making sure we protect ourselves, our assets? What really stands out to you, the listener, about needing to prepare for the unexpected, especially when it involves the people closest to us?